Hi, Darcy. Hi, Darcy. Hi, folks. It's Darcy from the Purposeful Pantry, and today we're talking about the 5 things I will and the 5 things I won't dehydrate again. And if you like talking about food storage and food preservation and grocery shopping and stocking your pantry to feed your family, click the subscribe button down below to get more things just like that, because that's what we talk about all the time. So I asked my group, the Dehydrating Tips and Tricks on Facebook, about what they thought their worst project to do, what they will never dehydrate again. And the results surprised me quite a bit because the number one answer was watermelon. I didn't expect that. I knew it would be high up there because it's one of those things that you either really like or you really don't. There are very little in between feelings about watermelon. Number 2 was cucumbers. That was probably number 2. Number 3 was just a toss up, and then it was just like, just a free for all. So what I want to do now is talk about those things that I will dehydrate every day, all the time, forever, and those things I probably will never do again. And I'm never going to say never, except for one of them, because I may need to do them, for me, I may need to do them for a tutorial or a video or something down the line. But things that also are not necessarily because I don't like them, but because my family just won't eat it. So there's no point in me continuing to dehydrate something that my family is not going to eat, especially if I can't find another use for it. Okay, my first one is going to be something that I'm going to dehydrate again. Now, I won't use a lot. We use it, but not a ton, but I love them. And I know this is also a love-hate relationship with people. You either really like these or you really don't. If you have a sweet tooth or if you don't, then this is definitely not something you're going to like. But kids love these. They make great gifts for holidays. They are perfect little, just crunchy things that change the texture of the original product completely. And they make a whole different kind of food. But that one is going to be marshmallows. I'm going to do this again. I do these every year. Every Christmas time, we'll go ahead and make another batch of marshmallows to use in our hot chocolate, or I'll make marshmallow snow, and I'll make a batch enough to get us through for a while. We don't keep them around all year long, but we definitely keep them over the winter because we love to have hot chocolate in the winter. This year, we did the Lucky Charms marshmallows. Last year, we did the peppermint. A viewer, one of my readers, actually sent me marshmallows, the peppermint ones, when we couldn't find them around here. And it was great because we hadn't had these before. So marshmallows are kind of like that fun favorite treat that we'll do. They're not a staple. I won't go out and just try to make sure that I have them all, but I will definitely do these again because they were fun. Now, one that I won't do again, and it's an issue of texture, which may end up being a problem with a lot of you when you're doing dehydrated goods and you eat it and you go, I don't like that. You might want to try again with preparing it a different way. For me, it's apples. I don't like skin on my apples. So I found out that my family doesn't either. Our little snack jar here has, all the strawberries have disappeared, but the skin on apples are still here. So that leads me to believe that nobody really likes these. I certainly don't, and the boys don't either. So I won't do these again. But what I will do is I'll skin them first, then do it. And then that will be a much different texture for the bite, and probably everyone will like these. And even if they don't, I will. Something else I will do every day, all the time, forever and forever. You guys, if you've been with my channel for a while, you know this, and especially if you're in the dehydrating group with me, green powder is my go-to for nutrition boosting in everything that I make. So you will find that I will have greens running in my dehydrator all the time because we go through this, probably a quart like this every 3 months. About every 3 months. It's about how long it takes me to get through one of these. So I have greens going a lot. This adds extra nutrition to just about anything that I cook. I don't add to things like lightly colored desserts, but I will put it in brownies. I will put it in some cookies. They've been there before too. I've put it in pancakes. I've put it in everything that I cook that's savory. We even use it in our eggs. And many mornings our eggs are green because we add this to it. This adds so much nutrition in a way that we typically might not get it. So while we love salad, while we like salad and we will eat salad, we don't eat it really often. And none of us like cooked greens. So this is the way for me to get greens in our diet. The best way that I can do to make sure it's there all the time. So greens are they're my favorite just because they're so utilitarian. Something else, I will never dehydrate again. And I will use that no, I'm not gonna say never, 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 but grapes are gonna be something that I don't dehydrate again for my family. Nobody eats them. And I've tried and tried to give them different kinds, and they just really don't like them. And I think it's because we're just so used to the commercial variety of raisins, and that they like the plumpness of a raisin that I can't recreate at home very well, especially if I plan on them being shelf stable. So grapes are off. They'll eat them fresh like crazy, but dried, they just really aren't fond of, but they'll eat commercial raisins. So if it means that I'm getting more fiber and nutrition in my kids, that's what I'll do. I'm okay with that. Another thing that I love that's very utilitarian for me, and it's the second thing that I dehydrate the most of, is vegetables. Now, what I do to make this easier on me, because what I do with it most of the time is create vegetable powder that I add to things the same way that I do greens. But what I'll do is take advantage of sales of freezer products. Freezer vegetables make this so easy because it's already blanched, it's already prepared. You don't have to do anything but open the bags, put them on trays, and dry it. It makes it super easy to go ahead and stock your pantry up quickly, especially if you're just now building and so you want to put more things in there. Using frozen vegetables is a great way to do it. And especially because they're so easy, they're almost foolproof. It's a great beginner project, and it will help you build your stock of dehydrated goods very, very quickly. Now, they don't always make the best just returning to a side dish, but they're perfect to toss into a soup or a stew or a casserole, or even into your eggs, to try to have some additional vegetables in your diet, and make good use of your dehydrated products. So vegetables will always be up on the top of my I will dehydrate more of these down the road. Something else I won't be dehydrating again, but I'm going to put a caveat for snacks. Raspberries, berries, dewberries, all of those kind of berries. I will not be dehydrating these again for eating as a snack. Part of the reason is that to me they dry into a kind of husk instead of a berry. There's no bite to them, there's nothing left, and I just don't enjoy them, and pretty much nobody in my family does either. But we like the freeze-dried varieties, so that's what we'll probably go ahead and invest in to keep some on the shelf for being shelf stable. But I will always do berries. Whenever they go on sale every summer, I always stock up on a couple of flats worth, because what I do with them is create powder. Now, you may think that all you do is dehydrate and make powders. Well, I do a lot, because these become more versatile to me than just trying to use whole dehydrated goods sometimes. So I can powder all the vegetables, all the greens, and add things to my foods, or I can do like this and have a flavor to add to yogurt, to oatmeal, to breads if I want to kind of spice something up, to icing, and a whole bunch of different ways that you can use powders to help elevate the flavors of your food. All right, something else that I love, and it's a surprising thing because my husband is what drives this one a bit. My husband does not like onions. He hates them. He hates onions. He hates the texture. He hates biting into a raw onion. He hates biting into a diced onion. He doesn't like having onions in any of his food. But the weird thing is he loves onion flavor. So we use a lot of onion powder. And dehydrating onions on their own, just like this, makes the best onion powder. It tastes so much better than store-bought. But because I don't have them with me, I had to start at this point. Caramelized onions are the thing that I will dehydrate a lot because they are so good. And because he'll eat them like candy. He just will sit and eat them. They remind me a lot of the French fried onions that you would put on top of a casserole, like the green bean casserole at Thanksgiving. And for you guys that don't live in the States, who might not be familiar with them, they are like breaded onions, not like an onion ring, but breaded minced onions that have been deep fried, that you use as a crunchy topping to a casserole that we make that's like pretty mushy for Thanksgiving. And these just give it some onion flavor and some crunch that gives you a better texture. So when you do caramelized onions and you dry them, they are amazing. And they're just like little bits of fried onions, but much, much healthier for you. They do powder well to create their own caramelized onion powder, but it's pretty sweet. So you might not like it. I like to add it to things like chicken salad because it gives it a nice flavor and still elevates that chicken salad to something a little, with adding a little sweet to it if you don't typically put anything sweet in it. So I like it for that, but we just like to eat them like snacks because it's just good. Something else I won't do, and I don't have it here because I will never do it again. I didn't even finish it the first time I tried it, but that's liver. And I'll never, ever, 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 ever do liver again. It was gross and it was disgusting and it stank. I was doing it for a project trying to figure it out if I was going to do it for a dog treat, to kind of do another dog treat blog post. And then I was going to, give them to our neighbors because our neighbors all have dogs. And then I couldn't get through it. I had to trash it because it was just disgustingly gross to me. Another project that I love that you don't hear very often, but I really love doing it, and it's a great way to use these up if you've made your own. To use the leftovers is another way to extend it without just throwing them away. Vanilla powder. I make my own vanilla, and I get vanilla beans from a co-op that's on Facebook. I can link it below. That you get really great vanilla for a pretty decent price, and then they order it throughout the year, and you just chip in for the order, and then you get sent vanilla. So when I make vanilla, I'll go through 2 or 3 rounds of it to get as much of it as I can. I'll go through, a whole bottle. They last me for quite a while. But at the end, when I have vanilla beans left over, instead of just taking out the inside and using it somehow and then chucking the whole bean, I actually will put them between 2 paper towels on the counter and let the alcohol evaporate. So whatever is still there can be dissipated into the air and it's not an issue. And then I go ahead and dry it in my dehydrator and powder it. And I have this great vanilla powder that I can use to flavor things down the way. It also makes a great addition to teas. If you want to make a vanilla flavored tea on your own, you can add this to it and steep it along with your tea leaves. The only thing I'm going to say before you go off and try to do this is read the manual on your dehydrator to make sure that it suggests or doesn't suggest that you do anything with alcohol in your machine. Some of them actually say don't, which is why I do what I do, is that I put it out to be overnight so that it can dissipate. My machine doesn't say don't do it, but I know many of them do. So you'll want to check yours to make sure it's okay. Another thing that I won't ever dehydrate again are bananas. I know that they are a favorite, but I also know that they're a big failure point for a lot of new dehydrators that come in and try to think, I'll just make bananas like the ones I get at the store. It's easy. I'll just cut them up. I'll put them on trays. They'll go. We'll be good. The problem is that people don't realize that it really takes a long time to get a banana fully dried and fully to the point of getting kind of past that hard banana to dry it even further. And there's a stress point within the ripening stage that you need to be in, because too ripe makes it hard to dry, and not ripe enough has no flavor. But we have found we just don't like them. Okay, another project that I will dehydrate a lot, and it will be just for me because I'm pretty much the only one in my family who likes them, but then that's what makes it great for me. And then I'll share one that I do for only my oldest son because he's the only one who likes this, and I will do it for him. Pomegranate arils. You can see that these are all just the arils that you get out of a pomegranate. Those little juicy things that you pull out, this is them. I dry them. And I have them all year long until the next season because we only get to see them like in November and December and January. No, pretty much just November and December. They come out just in time for Christmas. And we rarely see them any other time during the year. I love these things. They are tart and crunchy, and they make a great addition to salads. They make a perfect little complement to go into a chicken salad to give it some texture and bite. I made quite a few last year when I did the tutorial, so I still have quite a bit left over. But I'll still do some more this Christmas because I don't want to miss out on the whole next year having these available to me. And it's something I do for my son just because that's what he loves. I will dehydrate picante sauce. Now, those of you who aren't from Texas may not know what picante sauce is. It's basically a watery version of salsa that's not so chunky. It's much more smooth. It's got some chunks in it, but it's just a hot sauce that you dip your chips into or you put on top of something else. We dehydrate this. You can do it with salsa too, just as easily. And flake it. My son loves adding it to the top of his ramen. He'll put it on the top of breakfast burritos, he'll put it on top of his eggs in the burrito, and it adds a little crunch factor. It also can be rehydrated to be picante sauce again. It's great for backpackers that can have a little flavor without necessarily having to carry the sauce. So do me a favor. In the comments below, tell me what your favorite thing to dehydrate is and what your least favorite thing to dehydrate is. And you don't have to have an explanation, but you know, if you don't like it, you don't like it, and that's okay. And if you happen to be a YouTuber or do video, just for the heck of it, why don't you do a video response to this and a video about your 5 favorite things and 5 least favorite things to dehydrate. You can use the hashtag I won't dehydrate that again. And then I'd love to hear your responses. So thanks for stopping by and listening to me talk about my least favorite and favorite things to dehydrate. If you love dehydrating or other forms of food preservation to stock your pantry for your family, please be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. I would love to have you join us. And until next time, happy dehydrating. See you again soon.